Christmas, everybody! On this fine Christmas day in 2024, Santa Bean has blessed all of our Wiis with a brand new CTGP update, which includes 3 new tracks, 3 major updates, and 5 minor updates. Even though this is the season of giving, we also have to part ways with some tracks this season. So the tracks getting removed this update are Disco Fever, Summer Starville, and Windmill Village. In this video, we're gonna unwrap the new tracks and major updates. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this update, and I wish you all a happy holidays on the racetrack. You already know we gotta celebrate Christmas with a Yoshii reindeer, and first track we've got here is Cruel Angel's Thesis, made by Cal. What I know about this track is that it was made for a CTGP track creation contest where the winner would be guaranteed entry into CTGP. Also, why am I just randomly green there? Now, if I'm probably going to say this wrong, I know this track is based off of an anime. I believe it is Neon Genesis Evangelion. I'm probably saying it wrong. Don't mind me if I am. But this track went through a lot of fixes, a lot of suggestions. And once it won the contest, a lot of work was done on it. And now we're finally seeing it enter CTGP here. Now this track has a very unique theme. I'm very happy to see more unique themes making their way into CTGP nowadays. And this one's also looking quite fun to drive. I'm kind of excited to see how this one plays online because there are a good amount of shortcuts on it, but nothing that makes it too overwhelming. So as per usual, I'm just driving a regular lap of the track right now, and we'll show more of the strats like once we get to the next lap. There is obviously a lot going on here, so I actually am going to show one strat before we get to the next lap, and that's going to be at the end of the lap here. If you see this little ramp here, you can use a shroom and then shroom up here, and that way when you're going into lap 2, you start really far on the left already, and you're also taking this ramp. You might be able to see on the map that there's another route to the right. We'll go over there at the end of lap 2 since that's going to be faster for finishing the race. Now, I don't know how this one's going to play online. I think this shortcut right here might be a big time save for everyone. I think I actually did that one on lap 1, so my bad for not taking that. So you can see there, if you get an early trick there, I'm going to see if I can get this one. Nah, I can't get that trick. So there's another route up there where you get some item boxes. And I know there's another shortcut here, and usually it can take 2 shrooms. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to try doing it with 1. Because as you can see, you accelerate fairly quickly when you get out of that mud. So doing that with 1 shroom is probably going to be worth it. I don't know if there's any other like major shortcuts on this track besides the one that I showed at the end there, and I don't know. I think this one's going to give really interesting races. There's a lot of cool driving sections. I don't think it's too overbearing in terms of the boost panels, so I can really appreciate that about a track nowadays. This set is probably going to be kind of important because, I mean, the end of the race is right here, so you can maybe get some target shock off of this ramp. And we're just going to go straight off of this ramp here. This is the normal route if you were transitioning into the lap. And that is the end of that track already. I mean, that one's not a very long track. I mean, of course, it's only 2 laps, so it makes sense for it to be not very long. But I think that one's going to be really fun. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And let's move on to our next track. Next up, we've got Interstellar Laboratory, made by BroOFun and Dot. I believe that's the author's name. This one I have seen a lot in the past few months, and I'm very excited to see this track finally getting into CTGP. Don't mind me hitting a wall there, that's just normal at this point. Now, I think there is so much going on here, and you can already see we're entering this laboratory section right now. I have never been on the left side, so we're going to take that lap 1 and see what that has to offer us. And it looks like we're going to be going around to the left side of this big old circle section here before... Oh, yo, the Goombas looking sick on this one, man. I love how the Goombas look on this. That's such a nice feature. Got a lot of item boxes. There's some item boxes up there. I believe that is only accessible with a shroom cut. Now, we're going to see a shortcut immediately at the start of lap 2. What you're going to do, you're going to shroom to get up here, and I'm going to use another shroom because that's actually heavy off-road up there. So for time trials right now, I believe the current fastest vehicle is Dolphin Dasher. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case by the time this video comes out. So now what we're going to do here, we're going to take this right side of the circle. This is the usual shroomless route, if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, well, I'm sure you'll find out by watching a video. Now, I know there's another strat right here. What you can do on this ramp is you can use a shroom to get up here, and then you have an item box as well. there used to be an extension of that shortcut where you could go further to the right or go inside one of the buildings afterwards and then gain a lot of time that way. But they had to remove that part. I believe it was too broken, so they probably removed it when they were optimizing it for CTGP. Overall, though, I really like the theme of this track. I like that the shortcut, like one of the main shortcuts, is right at the beginning of the track. At least, I think it's one of the main shortcuts. As you can, I'm going to showcase one more shortcut right here. If you go to the right, you have an upper route here with another set, and you can use a shroom here. I don't know if this is a 2-shroom shortcut. Yes, it is. Okay, so you need 2 mushrooms for that. And you get a box at the end of it, but you also get a box before it. So if you're in a tough situation, you could gamble and try to get a mushroom at that position or a star or something and maybe get a good chain at the end of it. But that's already the end of Interstellar Laboratory. I mean, I'm liking how short these tracks are. They're not ridiculously long, and I can really appreciate that. And this one is going to be chaotic online. I've already played this one a lot in some other CT packs. I forget which ones exactly, but it has always given chaotic races. Anyway, let's move on to our next track. For our final new track, we have Wario's Climate Cataclysm, made by Shorky and Yoshii, just like our boy right here. And I mean, the name Wario's Climate Cataclysm is already kind of insane, so I'm sure we're gonna expect a lot of chaos. And I can already tell you this track is gonna be extremely chaotic online. Like, you can already see this beginning section was like quite congested. But hold on, you are just seeing the beginning of it, because now we're gonna have a whole lot of ice. And I have been trying to figure out how to avoid that thwomp. Okay, I finally figured it out. I just had to take a different approach on it. I was struggling to figure that one out before recording this, but you know, now we didn't avoid it. There you go. Now y'all know how to avoid that as well. My only problem with ice sections like that is that they can be really easy to trap. So I'm potentially concerned about that. Now, there wasn't an item box before the start of this bridge, but there's one at the end. So I feel like the bridge is going to be one of the main areas for interaction when it comes to this track. This ending section, you know, and the very start of the lap are, you know, nice. You have a nice little forest going on here. Oh, wait, I didn't even see the sign. Hold on. Anyway, going on to the strats here, we have this little path switch we can do from the right to the left, then drop down below and then hit this boost panel. And another thing I've been struggling with is this shortcut right here. So let's see if I can make this. And you need 2 shrooms for it because that top part there is actually off-road. Now what you can do is just go over here. And then last thing what you can do is get a mini turbo off of that and skip a whole lot of that ice section. Now I really like that, but I do feel like it could cause some problems online. Now the last major cut, or well, second to last major cut I could think of is just that dirt part right there. Sorry for, you know, kind of being fast with the rear view. I'm used to it as an online player. And then you have this ending grass cut here, and I did it way wrong, so I ended up in the grass on the other side. So you're gonna have to be really careful if you're gonna try to take that one. Okay, I once again forgot to take a look at the sign at the end of the lap, so that's my bad. So I don't really know if there's any other major cuts. I guess there's like, you know, a quick little cut right there. But setting that one up into the other one is gonna be quite difficult. And then you have another shroom cut right there. And then that sets up quite nicely into this, and I'm jumping off the track. Okay. I have to be really careful as to like where I'm looking when I'm trying that cut, because that one's way too easy to fail. And then this cut's just really easy to take no matter what. So you don't really have anything to worry about. Now, one thing that you'll be able to see in just a moment here that we don't really see a lot of nowadays is this track actually has an ending strat designated for lap 3 endings. So I'm not going to take the shroom cut here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here actually. And you'll be able to land on this part and then drive directly to the finish line from there. And that is Wario's Climate Cataclysm. Now, obviously, it took a little bit longer because, you know, that fall off was kind of unfortunate. But this one's also going to be kind of interesting online. It seems like the shortcuts at the beginning of the track and like that entire ice section are going to dictate how the race goes. But we'll see how it ends up. Anyway, that's all of the new tracks. So let's check out the major updates. Our first major update is GBA Cheese Land, and this one is being restored to a former version that was in the pack. Now, this one I'm quite surprised to see, because the person who made the one that you just saw in this version are the exact same one. Okay, that was just awful. What the heck was that? Our first major update is GBA Cheese Land. Now, this one I was very surprised to see on the update list because this is being restored to an older version of the track made by the same author, that is Chaos Shadow 23 or Shadow. Now, there's a few key differences in this version compared to the newer version that was just in the pack for the past few years. A lot of it being you don't have as much to cut off as you did. Also, these ramps are way different. You have little bumps at the end of them. So what I'm doing is you can hop at the end of them like BC3, and then you can get lower air on them. And this section, obviously it's still going to be open, but I think this part is pretty much the same as it was in the newer version of this track. And then you can take a shroom cut at the very end there. I just did that because there's not really much going on in that ending section anyway. Now, main shroom cut is going to be this one at the start right here, just to get you right to the first item set. Really good spot to chain a single shroom. Then you have another item box right there. Now, I know some of the main cuts in the newer version of this track revolved around this part right here. I believe what you would do is just shroom and then, oh yeah, see, you can see you can't really cut off as much there since there's walls now. Now, one of the main differences is the way that you do this strat right here. I believe what you can do is kind of trick off like that, land on the block, and then go just like that. If you tried doing that in the newer version of the track, you would have gotten counted out of bounds, since he put an out of bounds plane a little bit further to the left. So that version of the cut did not exist in the newer version of Cheese Land. And that was one major thing that players really like to do on the track. Me personally, I never really liked it. I will say I actually was one of the people that helped discover that version of the cut originally way back in 2015 with one of my friends. Shout outs to Kirito, by the way. You're a real one if you're watching this. I mean, overall, there's not that much left for me to say. I feel like this track is going to play pretty similarly no matter what. It's going to be revolved around that shortcut and this ending section here because of how much there is to cut off. Just seeing all this stuff right here. Only 4 item boxes at this last set is a bit of a question mark for me because the newer version of the track had a lot more. So I'm kind of surprised they just went with 4 item boxes there. Anyway, we're approaching the end of this version of Cheese Land. Let me know in the comments down below which version you prefer. I'm honestly hard stuck. I have no clue which one I want to go with, but I think they're both pretty cool. They both give pretty fun races, so I can't really complain about that. Anyway, let's move on to our second major update. Welcome to our second major update. We've got N64 Wario Stadium made by Bugsy. Now, this track I know has been in the works for a very long time now. And at first, I was very worried because N64 Wario Stadium already had quite a major update a few years ago, and it was received horribly. People did not like it at all. It just does not get picked online anymore. This version, however, is very, very interesting. As you can see, it is completely reimagined from the version that we just had this last update. And I'm very excited to see how this one goes. As you can even see right now, there's just so much going on with every corner that I'm going around. And the driving of it just feels so much better. I mean, I think it feels a lot better. That's up to interpretation. But this one's definitely quite a change of pace compared to everything we've seen so far. We have a lot of different terrain. We have this road, you have all the mud section. You have some grass here. You can just do a simple shroom cut. If I wasn't, if I was better at the game, that wouldn't have gone awfully. I do like these tiny little cuts here because that one right there, the little mud on the right there, you skip an item set if you do that. So that's going to be a very interesting risk factor to take into account. Another thing that I find surprising is that this one's only 2 laps. We're making this track a lot shorter than it has been ever since it was introduced to CTGP way back then. Now, I'm going to try to figure out these shortcuts, guys. I will be honest, these ones I feel are kind of difficult. Okay, well, it's mainly just one shortcut. I'll see if I can figure it out right here. So what you're going to want to do is, actually, I'm just going to do a simple version of this. Just go on this dirt and then trick off the ramp. Is that out of bounds? Oh, it's not. Okay. I thought it was. Okay, I was worried for a second. I thought if you went too high, you were just going to get completely owned by the track. It doesn't look like it. Those mounds, obviously, I didn't navigate them very well. I don't know what the fastest way to go about this section would be. And I believe if you fall tight there, you're going to be off the track. Yeah, you're going to be off the track because you have to be on that still in order to, still be all good. Now, this section, you could probably use triple shrooms to, go really tight, as you can see that I'm doing right here. Oh, I actually did it with 2 shrooms. There you go, see? Then we have one more shroom cut right here. I believe this is just a 1 shroomer. Yep, and then one thing that the ghost does is shrooms like that. And that's probably going to save an insane amount of time just by the way it looked around that last turn. But just like that, we're already done with N64 Wario Stadium. Let me know once again if you think this is a W over the version that we just had in CTGP. I think it's going to be really good. And I really like that one actually. So let me know what you guys think. And let's move on to our final track of this update. Our final track of the video is Nivurbia, updated by SpyKid and Mystic. This one has been way overdue for an update. It had a somewhat minor update a couple of years ago, if my memory serves me right. But this is a complete overhaul of the track that we have really needed for a very long time. Now, obviously one of the big differences is the nighttime, but the other big difference is this room right here. If you remember, you could either go to the left or the right of a giant block in the middle of it. That giant block is no longer there and has been replaced by a simple stunt ramp. So I don't know if the ramp was really necessary, but I mean, hey, I didn't make the track, so I'm not going to be in charge of the designs. That penguin looks a lot better now. It was so in the way whenever we were playing this track, like in the previous version, and it would kill a lot of people at the very end. One thing I really like is we don't really have any funny junk going on right there. And I'm going to do this strat the old way because it's what I know. You just use your boost panel, go up there, and then skip the turn just like that. Save a tiny bit of time. And obviously your main shroom spot is unchanged. I believe this is going to be more consistent now. There were instances in the old version where you would just randomly stick to the snow and lose an insane amount of time, because that's heavy off-road as well. Yeah, this penguin looks way more avoidable now if you're like landing early, so that's really good. Overall, I really like what they did with all the designs. It really looks a lot more festive, and it really gives me that Christmas vibe. I mean, hey, I guess we saved the Christmas vibes for the very end. Now, I believe the proper way to do this, if I get it right, yeah, you kind of go off like that, because you minimize your air time and you're still maintaining your boost panel speed. So that's definitely the best way to do that. Now, for some reason, I'm not getting air there. I don't know why, but I don't really know. Anyway, as we're rounding the last few turns of this update, let me know what you guys think of this update to Nivurbia, and obviously let me know what you guys think of the entire update in general. This has been an absolute banger to go through. I'm really happy we could get a nice update for Christmas 2024. But that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know your comments down below as per usual, and subscribe to the channel. All that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.